98. That's the number of US metro areas with a larger population than the entire state of Wyoming. Yeah, despite being the 9th largest state by total area, even Toledo, Ohio has more people than every Wyoming city combined. Well, that is if you can even call them cities. But nobody moves to the cowboy state for the city life. Well, unless you are a cow, as with more than twice as many cows as people, Wyoming's a great state to moo in. There are technically 11 cities with populations over 10,000 residents too, however. So if you're captivated by the least populous state's stunning scenery, superb schools, extremely low crime and taxes, and affordable cost of living, but still want some modern conveniences like a cafe, stoplight, or Walmart, here is every city in Wyoming ranked from worst to best. And let's hit 3,000 likes for a video on Montana next. Number 11. Riverton. Wyoming's got tons of boring, uneventful settlements where drinking and cow tipping are just about the only things to do. Riverton isn't just one of those. It's one of the few places in the state which is a bad place to live. Yes, the average rent is under $1,000 a month, and there's a few nice bars and cafes, as well as impressive nearby natural sites such as Sinks Canyon, Boysen Reservoir, and Wind River Canyon, but the violent crime rate is more than triple the Wyoming average, meth addiction and public intoxication are rampant, there's barely any jobs, and while most Wyoming towns have friendly, close-knit communities, Riverton's 11,000 residents are anything but. Now, Lander, the other main town in the area with around 7,500 people, is a pretty pleasant place with plenty of cute small businesses and an outdoorsy vibe. But it's also a lot more expensive. Number 10. Rock Springs. Although Rock Springs is Wyoming's 5th most populous city, the vast majority of it resembles a quiet, stereotypical American suburb, which isn't a bad thing if you're looking for a safe, cheap place to raise a family. The median home cost is still just $272,000, and with a charming downtown, nice parks and community centers, a mall and many chain stores, both a movie and performing arts theater, and even a speedway, the city has everything you'd ever need to live comfortably, especially since it's surrounded by gorgeous public land such as the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area. But the reason Rock Springs offers so many amenities for a city of only 23,000 is because it's also incredibly remote, being at least a 3-hour drive from any larger city. And considering how long, cold, snowy, and windy Wyoming winters are, expect to be trapped in town for a few days at least 20 to 30 times a year due to highway closures. Number 9. Green River. There are many green rivers in the US, but only Green River, Wyoming houses the nation's lone FAA-approved intergalactic spaceport. But while we're still waiting for the day where aliens fly into town, the Green River that Green River sits on happens to have some of the best fly fishing in the country. And with it just being a short drive to Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area, Seed Skiddy National Wildlife Refuge, or Pilot Butte Wild Horse Scenic Loop, which is one of the nation's largest wild horse populations, Green River has no shortage of opportunities for its 11,500 residents to hunt, hike, boat, or wildlife watch. If you aren't big into the outdoors, however, it's quite easy to get bored here. Sure, it's safe and cheap, but apart from the casino, bowling alley, a few bars and restaurants, and a nice rec center, the actual city of Green River doesn't offer too many amenities, since Rock Springs is only a 20-minute drive away. Number 8. Sheridan. Located at the foot of the Bighorn Mountains, just 35 miles south of the Montana border, Sheridan is an outdoor lover's paradise. With easy access to some of the country's best hiking, skiing, camping, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, rock climbing, hunting, and fishing, without any of the Yellowstone or Grand Teton crowds. The city isn't just pretty, however, because with Wyoming's oldest bar and 3 local breweries, top-notch dining, unique museums and community centers, and fun festivals like Third Thursday, the Wild West Wine Fest, and First Peoples Powwow, Sheridan is also one of the state's cultural centers. Plus, it's remarkably safe with great schools, which makes it a wonderful place for families. The only problem is it's absurdly expensive with a median home value of $408,000. And as with most of the state, there aren't many good paying jobs. But even if you can't afford to live in Sheridan, with Manscaped, today's sponsor, you can afford to always keep a fresh shave, just like this cowboy. And with Father's Day coming up, what better gift to give dad than the Handyman shaver with its advanced dual blade skin safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts and 60 minutes of runtime on a single charge. And if you or your dad just can't seem to hide those nose or ear hairs, the Weed Whacker 2.0 7,000 RPM motor and 360 degree rotary dual blade system can eliminate the unwanted hair in seconds. And just like the Handyman, it's cordless and waterproof. Plus, with my promo code FHTH, you get free international shipping as well as 20% off any of Manscaped's products, including the Beard Hedger Lawnmower 5.0 or Shears 3.0 Nail Grooming Kit, all of which I personally use and can attest for myself. So what are you waiting for? Head over to manscaped.com and use my promo code FHTH at checkout for 20% off your purchase plus free international shipping. Yeah, even if you live in Lance Creek, Wyoming, Manscaped will ship to you for free. Number 7. Gillette. While Manscaped has great shavers, Gillette, Wyoming has great neighbors. Because although it's 33,500 residents, makes it the third largest city in the state, and its abundance of coal, oil, and gas has turned it into a boom town, with the population constantly swelling and depleting depending on gas prices, Gillette is warm and welcoming to its core, with most residents knowing and looking out for one another. In fact, every time I've ever visited, I've seen multiple groups of children alone without adult supervision, and some even receiving free gifts from a shop or bakery, which just goes to show how safe and community-oriented the city is. And in addition to its close proximity to both the Black Hills and Bighorn Mountains, Gillette also offers numerous city attractions such as a roller rink, skate park, golf course, great local restaurants and breweries in the historic downtown, beautiful city parks, and the Frontier Auto Museum, which features 13,000 square feet of vintage cars and neon signs. The schools are also above average, while the cost of living is below average, meaning if you don't mind its relative isolation, with Amazon taking around 5 days to deliver and the closest real cities being 2 hours away in Rapid City or 3.5 in Billings, you'll be set in Gillette. Number 6. Evanston. Evanston's about as close to Utah as you can get without actually being in Utah. And that's why it's made a name for itself as the place Utahns go to buy fireworks, alcohol, lotto tickets, and porn. And it just so happens to be one of my favorite Wyoming towns to stop and walk around in. There's great mom and pop shops and restaurants, and everything from its residents to quaint homes and charming Main Street built along an historic train depot is warm and inviting. Not to mention, the Bear River Greenway directly in town offers 16 miles of scenic walking paths and outdoor recreation. But apart from its stunning setting with 3 nearby mountain ranges, and its nice golf course and bowling alley, there's not much else to this town of 11,800 residents. Number 5. Laramie. For the most part, Wyoming's a state full of people just trying to be left alone. Now, it's not that Wyomingites aren't friendly, they are. It's just that many already have their social circles and are content living their lives, so it can be difficult to make friends as a newcomer. Laramie, however, is the one exception to this rule. Due to it being Wyoming's only real college town, the city of 32,000 has a vibe and transient atmosphere unlike anywhere else in the state. The people are outgoing and open, the coffee shops are fun and lively, it's super bikeable, the shopping and food scenes punch well above their weight, and there are tons of social events with great live music, art, theater, and sports. Not to mention, it's Wyoming's safest city. The best thing about living in Laramie, though, is how close it is to the Snowies. Seriously, Medicine Bow National Forest is one of the most stunning, peaceful places I have ever visited. And it's literally empty compared to the Colorado parks just south of it. But since Laramie is located on a high plain 7,200 feet above sea level, winters are brutally cold and windy, even by Wyoming standards. Number 4. Cheyenne. Cheyenne might be the biggest little city in America, because although its population is only 65,000, since it's Wyoming's capital and largest city, it has more amenities and job opportunities than many cities twice its size, while still maintaining a small town vibe with a friendly community and hardly any traffic. There's nearly a dozen great museums, the botanical gardens are a gem, the large downtown is full of cute shops and cafes, and there's a decent cultural scene with a legit live music venue and many events and festivals. In fact, with over 500,000 attendees, Cheyenne Frontier Days is the world's largest outdoor rodeo. And while this isn't exactly a pro for the city itself, but rather its close location to Colorado, if you need something that Cheyenne doesn't offer, you're just a 45-minute drive from Fort Collins for stores like Costco or Target, and less than 2 hours from Denver for legit big city attractions. But most neighborhoods are also just average suburbs without much soul, and aside from downtown, nearly every shop and restaurant is a chain. Number 3. Jackson. Wedged between Grand Teton National Park and Bridger Teton National Forest, Jackson is located in one of the most awe-inspiring settings on Earth. Outside of Alaska, the wilderness is more untouched and pristine than just about anywhere else in the country. And the hiking, skiing, climbing, fishing, wildlife viewing, paddleboarding, and rafting are among the best in the world. And since over 2 million tourists flock to the town each year, the city of only 10,600 is home to world-class cuisine, countless cafes, and loads of music and art. The only problem is that since it's a paradise on Earth with limited room, demand heavily exceeds supply, leading to the most overinflated housing market in the nation. The median home cost is now over $2.1 million, and the average rent is nearly $3,000 a month. So unless you're exorbitantly wealthy, you're likely gonna have to commute over an hour each day and still deal with the constant stress of chronic housing insecurity as wages don't keep up with rent hikes in the most income unbalanced American city. Now, before we get to the final two, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let me know which state you want us to talk about next. Number 2. Casper. Let's just get this out of the way. Casper is my favorite Wyoming city. There are stunning views in every direction. Casper Mountain and the North Platte River will satisfy all of your outdoor recreation desires. The Historic Trails Interpretive Center and Tate Geological Museums are both free and some of the best museums in the state, and similar to that frontier feeling that existed when the city was a stopping point on the Oregon, California, Mormon, Pony Express, and Bozeman trails, there's just this boundless energy of exploration in the air, which is also remarkably crisp and clean. Casper has the most hip vibe of any Wyoming city too, in my opinion, with a quirky downtown, 7 breweries, and unique eccentric businesses like Little Shop of Burgers, the 9-story Lou Taubert's Cowboy Store, and the Bourgeois Pig, one of my absolute favorite cafes. In short, despite being Wyoming's second largest city with 59,000 residents and offering a plethora of amenities, Casper still maintains that small town charm with a tight-knit community, great schools, and the perfect balance of city and nature. And best of all, it's dirt cheap with a median home cost under $285,000. Number 1, Cody. Cody is one of the most mesmerizing towns I have ever stepped foot in. Surrounded by Yellowstone National Park, Shoshone National Forest, and Buffalo Bill State Park, and located next to Chief Joseph Highway and Beartooth Pass, 2 of the most beautiful drives on Earth, you could easily spend a lifetime getting lost in the jaw-dropping natural environment. And the town itself is also delightful, with a bustling main street full of mom and pops, 5 museums about Buffalo Bill and life in the Old West, and plenty of shows. Sure, it's expensive, the winters are cold, and tourists crowd the city in the summer. But with a median home cost of $474,000, it's not nearly as expensive or touristy as a place this magical could be. And with the best Walmart in the nation, as well as friendly folk, no crime, and incredible schools, Cody isn't just the best city to live in Wyoming, it's one of the best places to live in the country.